All right, big show today. Got a lot to get into. Timmy B's going to hop on here. We got the Huddle Up segment. Going to do the offensive part today, do the defensive part later this week. Man, a ton going on.
Yeah, there is.
Ton going on. And listen, I want to say something. I've heard some people say, oh, well, this isn't the best weekend of college football because we don't have the best matchups. You know, nothing drives me crazier. I get as excited about week 0 and week 3 and week 8 and championship week, because all people do is complain, oh, we don't have football. Oh, 21 days till football, 34 days till football. And then it gets here and they're like, oh, well, you know, it's not the best weekend of matchups. How about you just enjoy that football's on?
Who's complaining?
Oh, I see it all over Twitter. Oh, it's a subpar. I hopped into space last night. Somebody's like, oh, it's a subpar matchup weekend.
Send me their names.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, grow up.
Send me their names.
Like, I love watching games that they're like opposite styles, right? Like Minnesota and North
Carolina, that's a fun one.
Navy and Memphis. Like I find it absolutely fascinating. So miss me with the subpar. That's a subpar thought from subpar people. Just kidding, but seriously.
So get off your lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Aaron Rodgers is going to miss the rest of the season with a torn Achilles. Tim Brando is going to join us to give his updated thoughts on the Texas Longhorns. And we're going to break down the chances that Colorado can make the college football playoff this season. There's 0% chance. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Now, look, I'll be the first one to tell you what Coach Prime and the Colorado football team is doing in his inaugural season in Boulder is impressive without a doubt. And after this weekend against Colorado State, they're going to be 3-0, which triples their win total from all of last year. And one of the craziest parts is they actually have 2 college football experiments we've really never seen going on at the same time. The first is bringing in so many transfer portal guys, literally an inordinate amount, and having them have cohesion and be able to play together so well and mistake-free in year 1. The second is having the Shohei Ohtani of college football and Travis Hunter legitimately play both ways, not in spot duty, but play over 125 snaps a game. But everybody needs to slow their roll with the talk of them winning the Pac-12 or possibly making the playoff. It's not going to happen. And to be quite honest, these expectations aren't fair to the team and coaching staff, and they aren't based in any type of reality. You ask why? Well, the reasoning is because while they have played almost mistake-free and they're letting other teams beat themselves, they're still very mediocre up front. That's just the reality. They give up way too many yards on the ground, and they don't gain much on the ground, and they have to manufacture pressure defensively to get to the quarterback. Now, they play in what could end up being the best conference in college football in the Pac-12, and they're about to run into a buzzsaw here shortly. Teams aren't going to be dropping 8 snaps a game against them. Now, they're pretty much diet USC when it comes to team balance. Making a bowl game would be an enormous accomplishment and one of the best coaching jobs that we've seen in a long time. Now, next year, Colorado is going to be able to go get the help they need up front very quickly from the portal. And recruiting is going to take a whole new shine in Boulder after this hype and PR machine year 1. The money's going to flow in like the rivers of ancient Babylon. And Prime will go from having to catch breaks to win games to literally breaking other teams down. So let's celebrate what Colorado is doing. I am all for it. But let's not lose our minds here, people. Like Will Ferrell told the guys in the locker room in Old School,
we can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've come too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to just keep our composure.
We got to keep our composure, guys. I'm going to bring in David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crane. David, again, we got game days going there. This week, the hype machine is the locomotives going at 100 miles per hour, and it's incredibly impressive.
It is.
It's incredibly impressive. But you also have to be able to take a step back, see what's coming down the pipe, you realize Colorado has flaws, and that's not saying they can't upset one of these teams.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? But you're playing in what could be the best conference in the country from top to bottom, let's be honest, and you're deficient in a lot of areas that the teams you played haven't been able to expose yet, but it's coming.
Well, I've never seen a program playing with house money more than this
Oh,
team
it's
right
incredible.
now. The thing is, Colorado could have won 0 games this year, and there would have still been a lot of excitement, and there would have still been people saying, hey, Deion Sanders just needs time, and he's going to get it figured out. That's if they won 0 games. Now you started off the season by going and beating a team in the Big 12 who played in the national championship last year. Forget that it's a different team. I'm just talking about the optics of the situation. And then beating an old-school Colorado rival, like a deep rivalry in Nebraska that's now in the Big 10. That's how you start your season. So now you can't tell Colorado fans anything. Or I'm having a trouble with the distinction between Colorado fans and just fans of Deion Sanders, because like everyone's getting mashed together now, which is kind of interesting. Like we really haven't seen that before.
That's why they did it.
I know, and it's just a great move for Colorado. Now, some of these fans, whether they're Colorado fans or just Deion Sanders fans, some of them I don't think are actually watching Colorado's football games. They're just seeing the scores and they're just seeing winning, which at the end of the day, what matters is just that you found a way to win the football game, which is what's impressed me most with Colorado so far. But if they were actually watching the football games, I think they would pick up on some of the things you're saying. You still don't have a run game. You're still deficient in a lot of areas on defense, and I think that's going to come into play when you face the quarterbacks down the stretch, like Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. You're going to play Cam Rising, Cameron Ward, DJ Uiagalelei, a lot of these quarterbacks. But regardless of that, Shedeur Sanders is the thing I keep coming back to. Like he is such a great quarterback, not just an athlete running around back there at quarterback. He's on time, he's on schedule, he's making all the right decisions. Next year is the year that I think is even more interesting, because now Colorado's going to be going to the Big 12 in a year where Texas and Oklahoma both leave, and Utah's coming with them, but Cam Rising's not going to be playing anymore. Like Colorado next year in the Big 12 is what's fascinating to me, and I'm starting to watch Shedeur Sanders, and I'm seeing a guy who can actually play at the next level. I'd love to see him throw in person so I could see the arm strength just with my own eyes and not through the TV, because there's a difference. But he seems like he's going to have a decision to make next year.
Mel Kiper moved him up 3
I saw that. I don't want to talk about Mel
But
Kiper.
you know how that...
Tom.
Look,
I know Mel Kiper. First off, I think he's a vampire.
he's the first one that'll go silent as soon as, Shedeur Sanders those 3
But
interceptions
I
against
do
Oregon or
think after
something.
watching Shedeur that like this isn't some guy who's playing quarterback because of who his father is. Like he is
100%.
a legitimate quarterback at this level. And they're talking about him and Drew Aller if he hangs around in that 2025 draft. I mean, it could be tight.
And like, let's see. That's why I would love to see him play in person. But here's one thing a question I have for you guys, and it's mostly for the Colorado fans, not the guys who are pulling for Colorado right now just because they're Deion Sanders fans. How many games do you want Colorado to win this year? Because I'm looking around right now, like Colorado fans I'm hearing from them every single weekend that Colorado keeps winning and they're excited. And hey, are you on the Colorado train now? And I'm wondering, man, how many games do y'all want Deion to win in his first year? Because I saw Mel Tucker win 5 games out there and then left for Michigan State the next year. If Deion wins 8 games in his first year, he's going to get tons of interest from other schools. Are Colorado fans not worried that he would leave after 1 season, or is the momentum you've already gotten from even 1 season with Deion Sanders, was that worth it all?
I think Deion has the ability to turn Colorado into a true destination place. I think he has the ability.
More than he could Florida, if that job came open, more than he could one of these SEC or.
Again, a lot of it depends. I think the money's going to flow in there because Colorado's got money. I mean, they've you look at some of the alumni they have. I think Deion's the type person where, especially the Florida State's rolling, there's very few places that could pull Deion away. Would Florida be one of them? Possibly, but I think they'd go after Lane Kiffin.
If the money's going to flow anywhere he goes, though.
It is, but I think Colorado is a place that you could turn into a monster. And if Deion gets the right, because that was the thing. It's the support, right? That you're going to get from the administration.
Man. Michigan has a lot of money. Michigan has a ton. Michigan has the most money in the world. No championships in the past 25 years. USC has a ton of money. No championships. I'm just wondering, like, at what point does another program come along and he says, well, if the money's going to flow anywhere I go, which it is, why don't I go where the recruiting hotbeds are? Miami.
Yeah, but does Deion want to be the guy that turns that place into that place instead of going to a place where it's been done before? I feel like Prime's that type of guy.
That's fair enough.
But Blaine, when I look at Colorado's schedule and you go up and down this thing, Colorado State's not a very good football team. There's a reason I took Colorado on the sharp minus 23.5. But you're going to Oregon the week after that. All right, we're going to play a game of get the Ouija board out and let's find the spirits. Okay, then you've got USC at home. After that, those are going to be 2 tough ones. At Arizona State, Stanford at home should win that game. At UCLA, Oregon State, a good Arizona team, a good Washington State team. At Utah, it's going to come back down to reality very quickly, but there looks like there's 6 wins in there.
No, yeah, I mean, 6 wins. I think you can put 8 wins in there. I mean, at this point, there's not a team, even after watching Oregon play Texas Tech, Colorado's going to be able to score on Oregon. I think Oregon's going to win that game. I think Oregon's defense is a little bit better. But you roll through the USCs, UCLAs, Oregon State will be an interesting matchup because of the way they play. They're giggling in front
Oregon
7.
State's a bad matchup for Colorado. It's a bad matchup.
We'll see when we get there, but I do believe this. I do believe what TCU did last year with the amount of one-possession games they won, which I'm pretty sure was 9, I think TCU gave up 160 yards on the ground a game, 6 yards a carry, almost 6 yards a carry on defense a game. I think they're a little bit more talented in the secondary than Colorado was. But that TCU team resembles this Colorado team. And one is just the waves they're making, their name's so out there and so early in the way they're winning games. And you look at this Colorado schedule, I think they're going to drop a couple, obviously. I had them winning 5 games before the season started. I can see 8 being their ceiling right now. But I do see Colorado as maybe, if the ball falls the right way, all right, for a couple of these games, you lose one of these games. You lose to Oregon on the road, and you somehow, maybe 2 games. With 2 games with this schedule, could Colorado end up in the playoff without a Pac-12 championship?
No, there's no chance. So where do you see 8? I got them beating Colorado State. That's 3. You're going to lose to Oregon. You're going to lose to USC. Arizona State, I could see that, right? That's 4. Stanford is 5. UCLA, I don't see you beating them on the road.
I can see them beating UCLA.
I don't see them beating Chip. I don't see them beating Oregon State.
I could see them beating Oregon State.
You could see them beating Oregon State. Oregon State has the best, one of the top, probably a top 5 offensive line in the country and one of the best defenses in the country. That is a worse matchup for Colorado than USC is.
How about Washington State? That's getting interesting.
You know, if that game was at Colorado, I think that game could legitimately be 60-57.
And look, they dodge a bullet with no Washington on this schedule because I think Michael Penix Jr. would throw for 600 yards.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then you go to Utah, and Cam Rice is going to be back. 6 to me is such an enormous accomplishment with what I thought they were going to do before the year. It's just this TCU winning 9 games by 1 possession is such an anomaly. Name the last time a team has won that many games by 1 possession.
No, I can't, but it's doable.
Well, it is doable. I think you'd have to sweep the Arizona
but it's
schools.
Very, very unlikely, especially to happen back to back. Just the truth.
Yeah, you'd have to sweep the Arizona schools for sure and take care of Stanford and then beat one of the some more.
And this is assuming they stay healthy. This is assuming that
there's always that one team, man. There's always that one team every year that does something weird, that does something no one's going to think of. Hell, no one thought Colorado's going to win more than 1 game. At this point, they're about to be 3-0. They're going to go into that Oregon game, week 4. And I tell you what, Oregon's going to be favored in that game, favored by probably a lot. If they win that game, if they somehow win that game,
I'm just telling you, they do. If they win that one, then I'll start to believe. But when they come back and they lost by 28 points or 35 points, then I'm just going to reiterate what we're talking about right now. That one team that I think that you're mentioning that not a lot of people are really talking about right now that could be that kind of come out of nowhere team. Man, the more I look at Duke's schedule, the more I look at it, like it's just starting to smell funny. If you really go through it, you get Northwestern at home, right? At Connecticut, you get Notre Dame at home.
So Duke does play Notre Dame at home.
Duke does play Notre Dame, and it's at home. You get NC. Let's say you lose that one. You get NC State at home. You get Florida State on the road. You're going to lose that one.
Mm-hmm.
You go play Louisville. That'll be tight. Wake at home. At North Carolina, that's winnable. At Virginia, that's winnable. If Duke only loses, now that they beat Clemson, to Florida State on the road, and Notre Dame's independent, that's a 2-loss team playing in the ACC championship game against Florida State again.
So they don't play Miami.
Don't play Miami.
Wow.
I'm just telling you, that's the team to kind of, if you want to see one that just comes out of the depths, and then if A&M has a bad year and Mike Elko ends up going to the ACC championship game with Duke, you're going to start hearing some things. You're going to really start hearing some things with Mike Elko, but we want to hear some things from you. 1-855-236-3228. Want to get to the Booster Club here in 1 second, but first, obviously football's back in full swing from the West Coast to the East Coast, Northeast, Southeast, and our friends over at DraftKings have got you covered on the action for every single one of them, NFL and college. But we do know DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet just $5 on football and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. But you don't have to be a new customer, all right, to get in on these deals, all right? All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. They're fantastic. Like I said, there's some very interesting games. We went over our sharps. A lot of them haven't moved that much either. You got LSU, Mississippi State. It's at -9 right now. That one smells funny. Mm-hmm. Georgia, South Carolina. I love that under. Got it at 55.5. It's only at 54.5. I would still take it. I wouldn't touch the 27.5. And then Minnesota, North Carolina. Those are the opposite ends of the spectrum game, man. They get really, really interesting. And we all know life's more fun when you're in on the action. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER, because new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on NFL football. That is only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER.
I meant to ask you this yesterday. How you guys feeling about +19 for Georgia Southern at Wisconsin after their performance last week?
Doesn't Georgia Southern have like a big-time player that's hurt?
I haven't got to watch Georgia Southern play this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
They got like a wide receiver, I think, that's hurt. But look, with the way Wisconsin, I mean, they didn't start playing the way I thought they were going to play last week. And I want to give credit to Washington State and what they're doing out there. I mean, Cam Ward's an absolute monster. The one I keep looking at, and I've watched Boston College play 2 weeks in a row. Now, full disclosure, the only reason I got to watch them last play against Holy Cross or Mother Mary State or whoever that was because there was a rain delay in the Notre Dame NC State game. But God, they lost to Northern Illinois, got beat up at home first week by Northern Illinois, snuck one out against Holy Cross. Florida State's a 25.5-point favorite, even though it's on the road in BC, and I know they're going to be up for that game, whatever. I mean, I just see Florida State walking the dog on them. That's the one that surprises me. But let's get to the Booster Club, where there's always...
Let's go to Sergeant Saggy Nips with the $2 donation. Good morning to you, sir.
What a great way to start the morning.
Love it.
Sergeant
of course.
Saggy Nips.
Sergeant Saggy Nips wants to know, will Mark D'Antonio make a difference at MSU?
He always does. He will when they play Michigan. He will find a way. That guy was such a great coach for that program, man. He brought respect to the Michigan State name. And to be honest, it all started when I was there, when my boy Mike Hart called him little brother. Like the whole mentality for Michigan State changed. And Mark D'Antonio brought a serious blue-collar edge to that team and said, okay, we'll embrace the little brother mentality, and we're just going to beat y'all.
Well, I like I said yesterday, I keep going back and forth because pre-transfer portal era, I think it was a whole lot easier to circle the wagons when something like this happens earlier in the year. Now, if you're an underclassman that is a primetime player or a guy that everybody knows about, like, are you sitting there saying, we're 2 games in, this is an absolute disaster. The head coach that I committed and signed to play for is caught up in this scandal. Whether you're on his side or you're on the other side, and we're going to ask Timmy B about it, you can just hop in the portal now.
Like this week or...
just like you're talking about that thoughts quit in your mind, like, well, hey, if I'm going to hop in the transfer portal at the end of the year, like, I need to make sure I don't get hurt. Like, do you just shut it down? Like, those thoughts... Anytime, even if you don't, those thoughts enter your head, which messes with your preparation and your focus. Like it just, to me, it seems a lot harder to circle the wagons in the transfer portal era, where you can skyhook your way out. At the end, I just think
that
it's
might
harder.
just be a mentality of kids these days too.
Well, I think it is, but you give them the opportunity to, it's going to affect more of them.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, but you could always leave. Like the quitters, like you knew the guys who were quitting on the team in the middle of a season. And I say quitting, like not literally leaving the team, but who've sort of packed it in because they're like, hey, I'm gonna transfer at the end of the year anyway, even if I have to sit out or if I go down to Division I AA. But I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe we'll start to see more of that, and that'll affect teams just like completely imploding down the stretch of seasons. That's be an interesting case study.
All right, let's go to Dave E with a $2 donation. Dave, appreciate it, man. He says, who is the portal prince and portal putz of 2023?
Well, Deion Sanders, the portal prince. I would put him and Kenny at Texas State on that list. Portal putz.
Is it Dabo?
Yeah, has to be. Because he's not in it.
Yeah.
He's not in it. It's like I said yesterday. I went on the Fan Upstate with Mark Ryan and them, and I was like, when it comes to the situation Dabo's in right now, where the game has changed, you may have to be malleable in the way you did things because everything evolves, right? You got to be able to evolve. There's two types of people in this situation, like the Titanic. You have the person helping everybody get to a lifeboat, and then eventually you get in. I'm not saying Billy Zane, you're getting in before the women and children, but you're helping everybody get to the lifeboat. Then you get in and hey, it's the ship. Hey, we're here, we're saved. Or you're the guy playing, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony on the violin as it goes down. Like, which one's Dabo going to be? Like, are you going to play the violin and go down in the freezing waters? Like, are you going to be Leo DiCaprio and not tell Kate Winslet, move your ass over on the door, there's plenty of space? Or let's play a game of 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. They got to be here eventually. Like it just, I mean, at some point, man, like, and I get it. You built it a certain way. But one of Nick Saban's best qualities is that he's malleable at the top. He complained about hurry up, no huddle. Oh, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh, you're not going to change it. I'm just going to go hire some of the best guys at doing it and beat you at your own game.
True that.
All right, let's go to Trent Kelly with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Trent. This morning, guys. Morning to you, sir. How long do you think Prime will stay in Colorado?
Man,
that's the question.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Like, Florida State's not, Mike Norvell's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. I'll continue to say I think he wants to be the guy to build it up at Colorado. I don't think Prime wants to go to a place where somebody's already done it before. And they'd be like, oh, well, Prime's just doing what Urban Meyer did at Florida. Or Prime went out, not just to use USC an example, he's not going out there. Oh, Pete Carroll did it before. I don't think that's him. I think with his ego, and there's good parts to this, he wants to turn Colorado into that monster to say, I'm the one that turned Colorado into the monster. I think that if Prime is going to leave Colorado, and I said this the other day, it's not going to be to another college. It's going to be to the NFL. I really believe that. Think about that hype machine, that PR machine. Now, it's a little bit different in the way you go about it. It's not really recruiting. You're drafting. But Prime to an NFL team in an NFL city, that's his bag, baby.
Well, next year is really interesting, man, because they're going to the Big 12 in a year where Texas and Oklahoma both leave. I know Utah comes over, but I don't think they're going to have Cam Rising next year. Like, that's when things start to really get interesting. And if the money's going to come in no matter where Deion goes, and the best players in the country are going to come play for him no matter which school he's at, then I think you're on to something there. But I do think at some point, you're going to want to go to where those recruiting hotbeds are if those programs are offering Deion Sanders jobs, which they're going to start offering him big-time jobs if he's doing what we were talking about earlier, which is winning 8 or 9 games. I mean, Mel Tucker won 5 games at Colorado. Michigan State doubled his salary. Michigan State doubled his salary to come coach in East Lansing. So I don't know. That would be enticing. And plus, Deion Sanders did this in his playing career, right? I mean, yeah, Cowboys, Falcons, 49, like he was jumping around all the time anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a big-time program go after him and for him to accept.
I don't think anybody would be surprised if any Deion Sanders did.
That is true, too.
Yeah, just don't go to Bama, please. I can't. Mentally, I won't be able to deal with that.
Is that what the Aflac spots are setting up? The Aflac commercials are setting up.
He's not going to want to follow Nick Saban at Bama. There ain't no way.
Please don't. Let's go to Sean Ketstetter. What's up, Shawnee? $10 donation. Says after the first 2 weeks, who's the most balanced team in the Pac-12 offensively and defensively? And also, did you see that OSU and WSU put a restraining order on the teams leaving? Any thoughts on it? I
mean, look, we get down to the legal weeds. Restraining order, I don't think they're coming back.
That'd be a good question for Tim Brando, actually.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean? Like the schools that are leaving the Pac-12 now can't leave, or does that mean you just can't have your meeting on?
Well, I think
because that's what it said.
well,
you can't meet on Wednesday.
I think maybe what they're saying is you can't win the Pac-12 this year. Like we automatically win it.
Oh.
Like Washington State and Oregon State automatically win the Pac-12. Y'all can't come back and y'all got a restraining order. Hey, y'all got a TRO, man. Y'all can't show up to the field or else we're putting y'all in handcuffs. I would say to me, I mean, it's still really, really early, but when we talk about balance and we talk about those are the championship teams, right? That's why when TCU got to Georgia, you know, they got just absolutely exposed. I would say Oregon State, I think, is up there. We got to see DJU do it against good competition, though. I mean, that's I've got to see him do it against a legitimate team. I picked Oregon to win the Pac-12. Not that I don't think Washington is balanced. I don't think they're as balanced as Oregon.
I agree.
I think Oregon's the most balanced team. But speaking about balance, the NFL, a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah.
Home team 6-10 this past week. Kind of a little wonky. Not shocked that a lot of unders hit. That's how it typically works in week one. But let's get to that NFL quick hitch there, David.
All right, let's do it. Aaron Rodgers is officially out for the year with a torn Achilles. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Seriously, what should the Jets do here? Are they going to ride with Zach Wilson? Are they going to try and bring in another veteran quarterback, maybe someone who's just retired, something like that? And then what does this mean from a fantasy perspective? You drafted Aaron Rodgers too.
Yeah, and I got to ask yesterday, looking at the quarterbacks that were available in my league, and you know, let us know the ones that are available in your league. Jared Goff was out there, so I scooped him up.
Gotcha.
Jared Goff was out there. I wasn't going to take a risk on one of these rookie quarterbacks or anything like that. There's a couple guys that were out there, but I just went with Jared Goff. I feel like he was the best option. Some guy, Jordan Love, was out there. For somebody that asked me yesterday on social, by the way, if you're watching on Twitter, X, whatever, make sure you hit that follow. And if you're in the chat right now, hit that like button for us, right? And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Daily Wire Plus as well. Go check that out. Shout out to everybody in the Daily Wire chat. But if there is a Jared Goff available, if there is a Jordan Love available, I would take a guy with experience. Now, as far as what the Jets should do, with Zach Wilson, I just don't trust Zach Wilson. Now, Robert Saleh and them, you know Aaron's not coming back. If Zach Wilson isn't the guy now, he's never going to be the guy. So if you're going to bring somebody in, I saw Chad Henne's name get brought up. I've seen Matt Ryan's name get brought up. You know, obviously you hear the Phillip Rivers and you hear the Tom Brady. We talked about that yesterday. I feel like with all the momentum that this team, I think, is ready to win a Super Bowl with the right guy at quarterback. Now, you don't have to go out there. We were talking about Aaron Rodgers. He didn't have to go out there and score 35 points a game to win a Super Bowl now. You need a guy that's going to come in, not make a ton of mistakes, make the routine throws routine, be able to you know, have that leadership role, be able to come in and earn the guy's respect quickly. I just don't think the kid who's like he's running around with Robin Williams and Hook, eating fake food at the table with his bandana on, is going to be the one to lead the Jets. I watched Zach Wilson stare a guy down. I mean, literally, like Matthew McConaughey walking down sorority row, and they're all out on the front porch and throw a pick. I just don't trust him to be able. With this defense, you can get away with just having a good quarterback. Just keeps it what? Steady.
Chad Henne's a very interesting name because he'd be put in a situation where it's like, man, I went out on top. Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl champ, Patrick Mahomes backup. I'm in Subway commercials now. I'm hanging out with the family.
But do I want to be in the back of the kitchen in the Subway
commercial? That's what I'm saying.
That's
the other half of that is, wait, what if the New York Jets actually called and I got another shot to be a starting quarterback?
You go, Chad.
Yeah.
You go.
That's interesting.
If the Jets call you to go start for him with that defense,
doing Henny commercials?
Yeah, I'm going.
That hen dog?
I don't know. I just don't know if there's anybody out there realistically that right now, if you're the Jets, you can call and be like, take us to the promised land, man.
I mean, there's
I don't know.
There's one guy.
I mean, Tom, obviously. But Tom's out there hitting threes, hitting 23s.
Still got it.
Yeah.
So don't pretend like you're not bored, Tom. We know you're bored.
Yeah, deep down, he's bored. We know that.
Deep down, you're bored. He's looking at that offensive line tape for the Jets. He's like,
it's not great.
Kind of back then, I don't love it, don't hate it.
All right, next one up. Steelers wide receiver Deontay Johnson is going to miss a few weeks with a hamstring injury. What are your guys' thoughts on that, and also from a fantasy football perspective?
Man, I think Steelers fans want the Steelers to miss a few weeks for you know, after
that was pathetic, man.
They had like 1 yard almost at halftime of that game. And look, the Niners are incredible. Like we've talked about that. Brock Purdy looked like he didn't skip a beat coming off that UCL surgery. I mean, that throw he made to Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, it was cold.
Second touchdown.
Dirty Purdy looked good.
Yeah, it was an absolute mint. I mean, that one and Brandon balled out. But it's just tough. I mean, you're taking another weapon away from a team that struggled in week 1 that needs all hands on deck to be able to go handle their business. I need to see who they have week 2 here. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And it was weird to see. It's always weird for me to see the Steelers struggle.
The Browns.
They got the Browns where at?
They'll be at home.
Browns, man. Big week.
That's not an easy defense. Myles Garrett and the boys to roll in either. But I do think, if you're from a fantasy perspective, at least with him being out, you're going to lean towards George Pickens.
Who do you see as their wide receiver 1? Because I hear different opinions on this, whether it's Deontay Johnson or Pickens.
I would say Deontay Johnson. There's wide receiver
from a volume standpoint,
but I do say their red zone guys, George Pickens. Mm-hmm. They're big play guys, usually George Pickens. And realistically, one of the guys who gets the most, balls thrown to is Pat Fryer, their tight end.
I was just about to say he scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, so he's realistically their wide receiver 1 and they're at tight end. But I would say Deontay Johnson right now gets the most looks. But, I would go, if you don't have George Pickens, depending on your league, if he's available to go pick up, I would go pick him up right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Rams and the Seahawks. Rams with a big win over the Seahawks. Man, have we undervalued the Rams? I know Cooper Kupp's going to be out for a few weeks, but the Puka Nacua kid came in, and we've been hearing all during fall camp about how this guy's having an incredible camp. He's going to fill right into the Cooper Kupp role and do exactly the same things that, obviously with less experience, but Stafford's going to be finding him. Well, that's exactly what he did. And then not only that, but, they started 13 different offensive linemen last season. That was a real problem. You can't win a lot of games in the NFL like that. And their offensive line graded out in the top 10 against the Seahawks. So do we undervalue the Rams, or is this just a week 1 win over a team that maybe we overvalued, which we'll get to next?
I think it said more about the Rams. I watched that game like from top to bottom, and Aaron Donald looked fresh to me. Mm-hmm. I thought Matt Stafford, especially in the intermediate game, was really, really good. Looked like he was on time with everybody. And again, without Cooper Kupp, the amount of confidence and rapport that this offense is going to be able to build when he comes back. You think, now Nacua does have a bad injury history. Now, we'll see if he can last. He would ball out for BYU a couple weeks and then get hurt. I watched the kid. He's absolutely electric. A lot longer, though. He's not some little slot guy that's out there running around him. He's longer. He can go get it, kind of somewhat of a long strider. When I look at this team, it just looks like they've got a good blend of young talent and old leadership that feels like they have something to prove. Matt Stafford in that game looked like he had something to prove to me. Watching him, it looked like old school Matt Stafford hanging in the pocket, delivering the pill. He made a couple throws across the middle, including a couple to Nacua that were fantastic. But the balance on offense, it just looked like everything was working. The whole playbook was open for Sean McVay. And you add Aaron Donald, some of the cats they got on that defense, like a refreshed Aaron Donald that's not sitting out the rest of the year. I'm hearing Aaron Donald say he's treating this like his rookie year.
That's the scariest
like he's got
thing.
something.
Yeah, that is
There's
scary.
a reason Geno Smith was screaming,
Said,
"Oh my God!"
Yeah.
When Aaron Donald was coming off that twist. Don't let Sean McVay and them get cooking now. They know how to win. Yeah. I know they don't have all the pieces they did when they went to built Team Frankenstein and went and won that Super Bowl, but they still got some pieces.
Blaine, Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? Same head coach, same quarterback, same defensive star, one of the best defensive players we've ever seen. Obviously, Andrew Whitworth retired. You don't have Odell Beckham Jr., Cooper Kupp's out right now. But what's the ceiling for this team? And keep in mind, they're going to play San Francisco this weekend. Is it going to be come back down to reality a little bit, or what do you see them being able to do?
I wonder what their season win over-under was.
I'll find it.
For the year.
Question.
Because I bet it's probably more now after watching that Seattle game. Watching them, and not a couple Seattle fantasy players. So I watched
6.5.
6.5, yeah. I can see them winning 7 to 8 games this year. Because the one thing they did, the Rams did extremely well. They sat on the ball the entire game. The entire game. I need to go look at time possession because the Rams dominated the entire game. And the Seahawks. It's so strange to me. Because I saw a stat where if you give Kenneth Walker, I think, the ball 20 times.
I saw this too.
20 times a game.
They're like 5-1.
They're 5-1. Anytime Leslie gives 20 times.
They flash that during the game.
Yeah, they're like half that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So at this point, and I talk about coordinators all the time, and my favorite type of coordinator is the one who gets the ball into their best players' hands as much as possible. Kenneth Walker right now is him and DK Metcalf are your best options on offense. And me, I'd probably say Kenneth Walker, with your offensive line, we got a lot better, is your best option on offense. You run the ball 12 times against the Rams. It's not good enough. One of the reasons Geno Smith was throwing the ball all around the yard because of Kenneth Walker and what the weapon you had behind you. Seahawks need to go back to that. I thought their defense played well. I just thought the Rams played. I thought Sean McVay and Matt Stafford won. Matt Stafford is, I think, a hell of an underrated quarterback. He doesn't get talked to enough. But Tutu Atwell from Louisville.
Tutu was nice.
Extremely nice.
Really
Extremely
good.
shifty. The kid from BYU is extremely nice. Cam Akers looked good. Their offensive line looked like they knew exactly. They were on time. Not a lot of mistakes. Kudos to Stafford. So I see the Rams making a little bit of noise.
Yeah. Well, not to hang on this point too much though. Remember we heard about Matt Stafford doesn't know any of the players' names. Matt Stafford needs to carry around a binder. Well, their ass on the field can figure it out. The chemistry was pretty daggum good on Sunday. So it just goes to show you. Sometimes you hear all these people talking about, there's this problem here, there's this problem here. He doesn't know, what his favorite type of Labrador Retriever is.
Hey, number 8, do you know how to run the hitch?
Yeah.
All right, run it here.
And when I look at you and do this, you're going to run a basic.
I love it. All right, so quickly though, Seahawks. Are overvalued at the beginning of the year? Do you think last year was the anomaly for Geno Smith, or is it too early?
Well, I think they threw the ball too much. I think Geno needs balance. Every quarterback does. I think Blaine brought up a good point. I will never doubt Pete Carroll's ability to make adjustments.
I'm in that camp
with the team.
He's proven it too many times.
Yeah, I mean this is what he does. He's been in it for so long, like you said. He's proven. I need to see again. It's the same thing I say to Giants fans and Cowboys fans. Or anybody who had now the Niners, I think, may be a little bit different because we really know who the Niners are from a personnel standpoint. But it's week 1. We talk about not overreacting in college football, right, during the first couple weeks. Yeah. You can't overreact in the NFL for the first couple weeks. So I would say before we lift somebody up or crown somebody or before we bury somebody, let me see the adjustments. I guarantee you the Seahawks run a lot more next game than what they ran it in this game. I'd be willing to guarantee you. And I guarantee if you're trying to take your fall style to the next level, dressing for success can help you look better and be more confident. You got to look good to play good. I think we all agree with that. So whether you're attending an important meeting, going to a networking event, you just want to impress your colleagues. Hey, maybe that girl, right? Maybe y'all meeting on a first date. Maybe a nice restaurant. You want to look fly. You want to come there looking raggedy. This isn't the Derelict campaign. Brought to you by Mugatu. Our friends over at Indochino, they got everything you need, man. From business casual, dress shirts, camp shirts, blazers, even stuff you can wear at the tailgate. Indochino offers a wide variety of options for every occasion. This offense is multiple. It's not just shirts. They got high-end suits at affordable prices, too. You'll be walking around look like you work for Spectre and Pearson, all right? Now you can look great at every event. So add fresh layers to your fall style with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, and you get 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. You said $399? Man, that's a lot. Have you seen these suits? You went and tried to buy clothes lately?
They fit.
And they fit
you perfectly.
The ordering process is easy, David.
Yes,
We've all ordered it. Blaine, you've ordered one. You got one suit that can fit over that cast you got over that Aaron Rodgers injury you got.
Special suit.
Special suits. That's INDOCHINO.com. Promo code BOOSTER. And also, producer Justine, quarterback in this bad boy, is throwing the link to our merch in the chat. If you haven't grabbed anything, look, Christmas right around the corner, okay? Hell, order something for Halloween. Walk around and grab you some Reese's. How do y'all say it? How am I supposed to say it, Justine?
Reese's.
Reese's Pieces.
I still don't believe it.
Reese's.
Grab you some Reese's.
Reese's.
Kit Kats.
Reese's.
Some Nerd Rope.
Some
all type of
Nerd
delicious
Rope.
items. All right, we got Tim Brando coming up. But first, before we get to the Booster Club, little huddle up.
Oh, let's huddle the boys up.
Hey, everybody, let's go. Hurry up. Huddle up.
All right, huddle up. Let's break down the final Texas touchdown dialed up by Steve Sarkisian that put the dagger in Alabama last weekend. We got gun, trio right up, H weak, YN, Linda Ping, X Hank. Let's break it down. We got one running back and one tight end, so we know we're in 11 personnel. Trio right up, H weak, YN. This is a 3-by-1 formation with strength to the field. Now, we're going to go ahead and motion that tight end. That's going to help get the leverage that we want, but it's also going to help Quinn Ewers identify zone coverage. More on that in a second. Let's know our protection here. Linda, this is a 6-man slide protection away from the call. Linda starts with an L, so to the call is to the left. We know that we're good to the field. That's where we're sliding. And the running back on our left side here is going to check release to the call. He's going to block if we're getting boundary pressure, and he's going to release out on a route if the will or the corner doesn't come, which neither of them do. Let's get to know our route concept here. This is Ping X Hank, all right? Ping is a post and an in route. We got a post by our number 1 outside receiver and a 10-yard in route by our number 2 receiver. And since we're running Ping with a 3-by-1 formation, the tight end knows he has a 5-yard out. Now on the backside, we've designated X Hank, so that's a 12-yard hook route. Ping is a staple against quarters coverage, which is what we're getting here. Cover 6, technically. Quarter, quarter, half. So the field corner has a deep quarter of the field. The field safety has a deep quarter of the field. And then our boundary safety has this half of the field with the corner playing hook flat principles over here. The purpose of this play is to get the field safety in a bind, which is exactly what happens. He is influenced by our dig route right in front of him, which leaves Adonai Mitchell one-on-one with the corner on the outside. Quinn Ewers throws this ball the second he sees that field safety react to our slot receiver. It's a perfect play call against the correct coverage. This is 11 personnel, gun, trio right up, H weak, YN, Linda Ping, X Hank.
Man, that's great stuff.
One of my favorite plays, man.
Yep,
One of our first install plays against.
It does put the safety in the bind. I'm going to go over the defensive side of it. Probably and I don't want to get too far into it. Probably the thing that's the toughest was those condensed splits by the wide receivers.
Yes.
And what ended up happening, you typically don't see that ping combination when receivers are condensed like that because you're condensing typically to go outside.
Yes.
When you line up inside, you go outside. When you line up outside, you typically are trying to make space to do something on the inside, and he went reverse to that. So it caught that corner who ended up getting beat, right, in quarter halves. He is responsible, right? It's zone until it's man.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. And so he was working outside leverage of the guy running the post. I don't want to get too deep,
breaking
but it's
tendency.
A great
breaking tendency
but breaking.
We would have never run that from a bunch set.
Yeah, like it just, you don't see that. Or even if they went 2-by-2. And you stacked inside.
And that's how we usually ran it 2-by-2, ping. That's why that tight end had that 5-yard out, which you could have designated like Y Okie or something.
For sure.
But
well, you'd have had the leverage on that cut. Corner's gone anyway, running quarter half. So even if he did want to go to the out, if the corner had it leveraged up the right way, that's just that's witchery. Like Sark is just an absolute monster with it. But we have one of our favorite guests joining us right now. We've got live calls too coming up right after. 1-855-236-3228. We're going to get to the Booster Club. Our good buddy, Timmy B. You can catch him all over the globe on Saturdays now with Spencer Tillman. Timmy B, what's up, brother? Great to have you back.
Well, it's good to be back, fellas. Thanks for having me. And all over the globe is correct. Headed to Houston for their Big 12 opener against TCU in prime time on Saturday night. It's a drive for me, only about 3.5 hours from Chateau Brando, so don't have to worry about the plane. I'll grab the wifey and head down to Spencer Tillman's backyard. He lives in Sugar Land, and we'll do a game there before I have a twofer. Are you ready? I got a twofer next week. Spencer and I just found out yesterday we'll be at Purdue for a Friday night tilt, Friday night lights with Wisconsin. And Purdue next Friday, and then we'll hop a plane and head right into the desert to get another look at USC and Arizona State. And I get to see Dillingham, which I'm really looking forward to because I love that. To me, he's like 12 years old. He's like a 12, but he's so smart, so sharp, and I think he's going to build something pretty special there from a recruiting standpoint at Arizona State. So. Get another look at the Trojans. And let me begin before you get rolling here, fellas, let me begin with two big I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong on Texas. I was wrong on SC. All right, and the reason was because they both shored up their defenses. USC's got the Bear Alexander is a disruptor. I don't know if you've got a good look at him, but he's playing zero technique and taking out two guys, and it's leaving the linebackers. And they got a freshman from Manny, Louisiana, played at the AA level, Tackett Curtis, who is just unreal. He can fly around, make plays. And Mason Cobb hasn't even played. He's been a little banged up. And Gentry, another good linebacker, is playing well. That's as good as a Grinch coach defense I have seen. Now, Stanford's not great. I'll give you that. And they're in transition too with Troy Taylor. But what I saw physically was nothing like anything that we witnessed from USC a year ago. And certainly Texas was throwing around Alabama's offensive line like rag dolls. Mm-hmm. So I was clearly wrong about who's this year's Texas A&M? Probably Texas A&M again. So I
had the wrong Timmy B, I'll say I picked Texas. I got Texas going to the playoff. I had them beating Bama. And number one, look, when you predict what's going to happen with 130-something teams, you're going to be right on some. You're going to be wrong on the others. I do disagree with you, though, on USC, not because they can't, but I don't think we know yet with USC.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely.
San Jose State, and I know it was the first game of the year, right? And first game of the year. I feel like San Jose State kind of pushed them around a little bit early in that game. Nevada, I mean, I trust Nevada about as much as I do Area 51 out there in that state. And then Stanford, if this was a math, a Rubik's Cube, or a reading contest with what they got going on out there, I'd believe it more. I think we'll know a little bit more about that defense. As crazy as it sounds, seeing with the Arizona State with Dillingham, which I'm with you. I know the Rashada kid is young, but he's going to continue getting better and better. I call Kenny Dillingham, he's Kevin McAllister. Just when they left him in the airport for 6 years, he was coming up with offensive plays. But maybe it's going to take them going to Colorado to find out if that defense, even though Colorado's offensive line is a little deficient, that one to me looks fascinating, Timmy B.
Yeah, it is. It is because Shedeur does put so much pressure on every aspect of your perimeter. There's no doubt about that. But the one thing that was missing from my point of view on USC last year was a down front. Okay, and now they've got some real dudes up there. And not just Bear. They got more than that. They're 2 and 3 deep. And Grinch is playing, 3 guys at every spot. So they're staying fresh. And I didn't see that in the past with USC. So, look, it's early, and sometimes we can overreact. But listen, and I'm the thing for Texas to me is now they've got to sustain it in the Big 12.
For sure.
All right. I heard you guys in the last hour talking about some of the teams that are out there that may be to some extent overlooked and lying in the weeds. And Kansas State is one of those teams. We just we haven't seen them play a quality foe just yet, but I think they're going to be a problem for Texas when they go in there. Same would be true for a couple of other teams in the Big 12 that I think a lot of the national media always overlooks. Mike Gundy's team is always dangerous when people don't think they're going to do well. Yeah. People don't think they're going to do well this year. And Kansas State is overlooked because of just their history. They're
not sexy. They don't play a sexy brand of ball. Kansas State is. Yeah, they're out there, working on their cars and making sure making sure dinner's on time. Yeah. Timmy B, I do want to say this really quickly. We led off Monday's show with Texas's biggest opponent right now is how they handle prosperity. Because again, it's everybody's telling them, patting them on the back. You guys are the greatest. Oh my God, you're going to be the team that brings Texas back. And Sark knows this. It's the most important thing for Texas today is waking up, eating a good breakfast, going to class, and every rep at practice getting ready for Wyoming. They have to take it one step at a time because that Big 12 will come up. I'm telling you, Texas Tech's not done yet. They may be 0-2, but Texas Tech's not. We have not heard the last from Texas Tech. I'm just telling you.
That's got to be the best winless team in the country.
For sure.
I mean, Wyoming, I don't know why. Kirby Hocutt, their AD, is a good friend. I don't know why you play Wyoming at Wyoming. But
no, I don't either. I don't either.
I didn't know why Ole Miss scheduled Tulane. By the way, Tulane, who I had, as you know, in my top 10, and they were going to be my fly in the ointment. If Pratt's not hurt, that game could have been different. I mean,
Without a doubt.
It could have very easily been different. And they still had a chance with their backup late in that game. If they just make a couple of more plays, they had control of it for 2.5, almost 3 quarters. But, when you're scheduling teams like that, non-conference, and you're in a league like the SEC, what has Ole Miss not gotten the memo from Georgia and Alabama on who you play non-conference? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
I know. You don't do that. And they have a tradition of playing Memphis. When Memphis is good, they were able to get past Tulane, which was good for Kiffin. The thing about Sark, you raise a great point. As much as we all like Sark, and he is one of the greatest play callers in the game today, he's not really won that many big games as a head football coach, okay? Hasn't had many upset victories in his career. This going all the way back to Washington, all right? Yeah. He hasn't. That was huge for not just the team, but for him, okay? So I would say not only is it important to see if Texas sustains, but how does Sark sustain, his success as a head football coach?
Yeah, maybe he needs to go on that silent retreat like Aaron Rodgers. He's just sitting in a cabin somewhere coming up with more of those ping combos out of condensed.
Darkness retreat.
You guys are evil.
Look, Texas winning in Tuscaloosa is cause for excitement. I get a huge win for them, and everybody was coming out of the woodwork on Twitter for you this weekend. Right. One of the criticisms I thought was unfair is saying that Timmy B just hates Texas, though. I mean, will you tell the Texas fans you don't hate Texas, right?
No. Again, that's the flag-waving pom-pom media, fans disguised as media, that go out and purchase a website and suddenly become members of the media. I'm not talking about you guys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys that just have no history, don't understand how close I was to the Texas program and followed not just Darrell Royal, but, after that, so many other fantastic coaches. And Bill Little, who was their sports publicist, was a dear friend of mine. He recently passed away. Ron Franklin, who also passed away, the great voice of ESPN, was Mr. Texas.
Ron was great.
I've got some deep-rooted relationships and friends with people at Texas, and it's great when they're back. I think it's wonderful when they're relevant. But they have been, since 2009, one of the most underperforming programs in college football. And that's not just a trend, it was a pattern. Mm-hmm. They weren't getting players. They weren't getting offensive linemen. They weren't tough. Now they are. And listen, I think a lot of times, and the fans better be wary of this at Texas. Yeah, revel in the victory. It was big to beat Alabama, but Alabama's got problems. Okay, remember that. LSU really got excited about beating Bama at Bama last year, and then spit the bit, couldn't take care of A&M late. And they were in a position, they were poised to have a shot at the playoff with 2 losses. They got ranked as high as number 5, before losing that game in College Station. So, you're great. You're playing at a very high level. But just beating Saban and beating him in Tuscaloosa does not mean your season is done. You got a lot of wood left to chop.
Yeah.
And before you start talking about being ready for the SEC, how about winning the Big 12 for the first time in a while?
Yeah, and your statement before on our show was this year's Texas is last year's Texas A&M. Well, I remember Texas A&M 2 years ago also beat Alabama. Now, granted, that game was out there at Kyle Field,
number 5 in the country.
But hey, Texas still has a lot of meat on the bone to chew. You got the Red River Shootout you're going to play, 4 different Texas teams in your own state, 3 of them on the road. So either way, I think they're the real deal. But still, your statement could prove to be true if they don't handle their business. One thing I did want to ask you, the biggest story in college football early this week is Mel Tucker at Michigan State. Mel Tucker suspended without pay due to an inappropriate relationship with a sexual assault advocate. Sounds like they're not going to make a final decision until this hearing plays out, which is going to be October 5th or 6th. How's this going to work out for Mel Tucker and the Michigan State football team moving forward with former coach Mark D'Antonio coming back to assist?
Well, I love the idea of bringing D'Antonio back. I think that's smart, and it's something I'm sure a lot of Michigan State fans are saying, well, thank God we were able to pull this off and maintain our relationship with Coach D'Antonio. Spencer and I were just there a couple of weeks ago for that Friday game against Central Michigan, and in week 1, after our week 0 game out in San Diego. Everyone here is a loser. Okay, everyone here looks really bad. Tucker does not look like the leader we all thought Mel was. And full disclosure, I'm a big Mel Tucker guy. He's a guy that you really want to root for. He's stoic, unlike Deion Sanders. He's stoic, but he's got a lot of substance to him in terms of the way he wants to build a program. And I think that's one of the reasons why Kirby took him away from Nick, and he followed Kirby to Georgia before, getting the job at Colorado and then left. The move from Colorado in 1 year is something that follows a coach, a little like it followed, remember Graham at Arizona State? Remember that whole Pitt thing that happened with him? That'll follow you as a coach, and not in a good way. But what happened here, if this bizarre, and it is a bizarre story, probably the most bizarre I've ever come across in the modern era of college football. The people have brought up the Hugh Freeze thing and the 900 number and all that. This is well beyond and even darker, in my opinion. If what we're seeing alleged is true to any extent whatsoever. But for him to have been in that situation and then to admit it during the investigation, and this is the issue for me, clearly the activist, although she may well have been well-meaning, okay, there are issues clearly with her too, okay, without a doubt. But he is the leader of men. He is the guy that's in charge of a multi-million-dollar program who just got a huge raise to $9.5 million per. And to that end, regardless of what his issues at home domestically might be, that may be none of any of our business. But if, in fact, he was completely estranged and his family was already aware, his estranged wife was already aware, he's having a conversation at 12:30 at night on a call that he didn't make. Okay, is this cause? Is this a show cause for Michigan State? I don't know. Okay, and that's what he's alleging. The only thing good I saw from Mel Tucker was his return statement. Okay, that clearly he got some legal help with from his lawyers. In that return statement, he was pretty clear as to what he admitted to, stunningly so. Those were stunning admissions to see in print that USA Today got. The school here, in my opinion, looks from an administrative standpoint as culpable as the coach. Mm-hmm. They were aware. They conducted an investigation that was wrapped up in late July, and yet they felt that the suspension was not worthy of taking place. Why? I'd say their priorities have to come into question, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now you've put the players, the quote student athletes that we care so much about, you put them and their families in peril because all of a sudden, a couple of weeks into the season, they've lost their leader. And they got a ton of recruits that are from the portal. They got people that committed to that school because of Mel Tucker. And now they are lost. The one genuine thing I felt from the statement that Tucker made was, he feels awful that they are on a rudderless ship right now. And sure, I'm sure they're thankful that they got Antonio to turn to. Now, I can't imagine him coaching there again. This is just an opinion. I can't imagine him coaching there again. But I certainly can't imagine that the show cause may not be in play here. Mm-hmm. They may have a hard time.
$77 million.
They may have a hard time. Now, listen, what he did was not a crime. A morals clause is not, you don't have to commit a crime to lose your job. If you violate a morals clause, I get all of that. That's legal jargon, but I get all of that. But the reality here is everyone in a leadership role, okay, Mel's decision-making, clearly the activists, quote-unquote, speaker is is questionable at best, and the school's administration in the manner in which they handled this, poor, beyond poor. So it's one of those tawdry, terrible college football stories where once again, leadership lacked in every phase of this particular story.
Yeah, it's a crazy deal. The one part I don't understand is why don't you just hang up the phone?
Yeah.
That's the
question
part
a lot of people
I don't
are
understand.
asking.
But there'll be more be more that comes out. It just smells funny. Bad decision making across the board, in my opinion. Like you said, everybody's a loser here. But there's not any losers in the Booster Club. At least I don't think so right now.
Yeah.
There's not. Timmy B, we're going to go to the bacon eater, the man who loves bacon, and he wants to know.
He wants to eat it.
Yeah, with the SEC struggling against other Power 5 conferences, is the SEC still the strongest conference?
It's becoming a little more debatable, isn't it? I think it is. When the rubber hits the road, it's about how are you faring with your non-conference record, and they ballyhoo it when it's in their favor. It's not right now. The Pac-12, what did they get to 19-0 at one point?
Yeah,
I believe they were
before Arizona and Cal lost. I think it was 19-0.
And Arizona gave Mississippi State all they wanted.
They did. Hell, Cal gave Auburn every bit they wanted.
And Cal gave Auburn all they wanted. Listen, the Pac-12 in its final year is seriously making waves. Now, they may cannibalize when they start playing each other. I'm with you, Jake. As you know, I have Oregon high. The one that I've got high and right now in my top 10, I've got them ranked number 10, Oregon State. I think they're vastly underrated.
If DJU can do it, Timmy B, if DJU can do it and make those tight throws against tight coverage when they're so good up front on both sides of the ball. And I'm a big Jonathan Smith guy, man. I'm a big Jonathan Smith guy.
As I am with DeBerry at Washington, and you look at Penix, they could scorch Michigan State, absolutely scorch them. Yeah, I think the SEC right now better come to grips, and their fan base better come to grips with the fact that you may not be all that this year. And listen, it's cyclical. As long as you wear the crown, and you still do, Georgia can carry you, no question, but Alabama's not Alabama. We're certainly not sure about LSU physically at this stage. Blowing out Grambling is not enough. They did step on the jugular. I know that's what Brian Kelly wanted to see. But they've got to prove themselves now against a quality opponent. And it's going to be a while before Mississippi State will tell us a lot. I think Mississippi State is a dangerous game for them. But, yeah, I think the SEC is Blaine. Right now, I'm going to say they're still king for the moment, but the crown may be slipping big time.
Yeah. Well, Timmy B, the crown never slips from your head on here, man. You always deliver. It's an Uber Eats situation. We love having you on, man. Tell everybody again where they can find you and Spencer this weekend. I know you got a 2 for next week as well, but we always appreciate you taking some time from Chateau Brando.
Well, my pleasure, guys. You know how much I think of what you do. And,
same here.
I need a Sluggo route next time from you, Cone.
Yeah,
that was the can. That was the can portion.
Stop and go Sluggo route. Okay, give me one of those.
We called it slush. Sluggo scene slush.
But Texas Tech is, by the way, we mentioned 0-2, but the best 0-2. Yeah. And you're right. There are big wins left for Joey McGuire, and they could be a real spoiler down the road. Texas better keep an eye on them when they get together. I love this Houston TCU game because Holgerson's got a lot of heat on him after losing to Fried Rice.
I know.
Right there in Houston.
I mean, golly, I hope y'all don't play beans.
They spot him. They spot him 28. Come from behind, send the game to overtime, and then drop it to Rice. Yeah. I can tell you, I'm sure Mr. Fertitta wants to see a W in that first Big 12 game against TCU, and the Horned Frogs can't afford to slip. They need to reestablish their credibility. Yeah, you know what, fellas? They lost a lot of close games last year. Excuse me. They won a lot of close games last year. But I'm still a believer in Chandler Morris. And even though those receivers are new, I think the TCU offense is going to be just fine. But we've got that one in prime time on Fox Saturday night. And then the following week, we mentioned we're going to be in the Big Ten for some Friday night lights. Wisconsin's got to bounce back. The Wazoo loss, I think, surprised a lot of people at Camp Randall, but they got to play well at Purdue and get on the winning side in the Big Ten. And then we're off to the desert to see SC one more time against Arizona State. So Pac-12 after dark, Friday Night Lights next week, going back to Houston this week.
All right, appreciate it, Timmy B. Yeah, Houston cost me a 10-legger. We'll talk to you soon, my friend. Safe travels.
You got it, fellas. All the best.
All right, one of our faves, Tim Brando, always great. Speaking about always great, tailgating time.
TG
going out there, TGing with the boys. You need to have good American meat, okay? And good ranchers, great ranchers, more like it. All right, we're always talking about how good it is, right? Whether it's the chicken, you got that pork box, which you said is absolutely hitting.
Yeah.
Like Shohei, even with the mess.
Bone-in pork chops, man.
The beef.
They're gone now.
The steaks. I ate a New York strip the other night, made me want to strip.
Wow.
To be honest with you,
Did you?
So good. No, I didn't. Well, not in public. But that's why we love Good Ranchers. They source the best meat in America. They deliver it right to your door. And even better, right now, everybody buckle up for this one. They're offering 2 years of free ground beef to anyone who subscribes. 2 years of free ground beef, people. I don't know another way to give you a better offer. That's a $480 value when you subscribe, okay? You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this mystery out. It's a great deal. So not only are you going to get the best cuts of meat from a trusted 100% American source company, they're not bringing this over from Prague.
It's in PlayStation, dog.
Yeah, this isn't coming in from the Arctic Circle. This is coming straight from the good old USA. That's 2 years of free high-quality ground beef and a locked-in price. Nobody else is dropping the bag on you like that. So go to goodranchers.com today. Use our code BOOSTER, and you'll get $25 off a box and free ground beef for 2 years. Remember, subscribe to any box to lock in that price on America's best meat for 2 whole years as well. That's goodranchers.com today, and use our code BOOSTER for over $500 human American dollars in savings. Subscribe to Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. It's the deal of your life. All right, let's get to calls.
Calls. First up, we had Mike in Colorado yesterday, and he's back on the line.
Hey. Mike, talk your ish, Mike.
What's up?
Talk your ish.
Hey, so you guys mentioned yesterday the scuffle at midfield. In Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what else they could have been talking about. I mean, these are guys from Nebraska. They sure weren't talking about prime numbers. So I'm sure there was something being said out there about Coach Prime, right?
Well, Mike, I'll say this: like it's. I wasn't there and I couldn't hear it, but you know, having gone on the road, typically what you do is when you show up to the stadium there were times during walkthroughs on Friday when we went and played Tennessee. We went and walked on the field on Friday, went out to the middle.
We did too.
Did our thing. Like that's part of it. I don't know if anything was said while they were walking by. Typically, you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old males. If somebody's out there, stuff's getting said. But I've seen teams pray on the logo and circle up before. Like I honestly believe Matt Rule when I hear him talk and explain what happened. I don't feel like Matt Rule's a big rah-rah, I'm going to headbutt the locker, let's go out there and start ripping earbuds out of people's ears. You know, I think that's more of, all Deion said all week is this is personal.
Mm-hmm.
This
rivalry
is personal.
game.
This is personal.
Well, if this came out before the game, I'd completely understand. It's like a fighter when you're about to box. Like, yeah, you're saying anything. It's the Michael Jordan syndrome. Like, whatever I have to do to put a chip on my shoulder.
That's exactly right.
I didn't hear about any of this until after the game in Colorado. You already beat them thoroughly.
Yeah.
So now we're past it. Like, you already won. That's why I was surprised to hear it all come out. I don't know. How do you feel, Mike?
Well, so again, like I said, I think there was probably something said. Who knows what kind of context that was in. I mean, you got to remember, these guys had T.O. was in talking to him at some point. So I think they're sensitive. This is the guy who went out and spiked the ball on the Cowboys star, right? So I think they're probably sensitive to look for these things also. I mean, it makes the rivalry great. I was a little underwhelmed that all they could say about the rivalry, which they've only been here for a year, right? It's personal. I mean, this goes back for decades with us. I remember watching these games in the 90s, 2000 with the crying fans on the sideline are just some of my best memories. So I like to see a little bit of jarring and jabbing.
Well, it's good for it's a Nebraska and Colorado rivalry being legit is great for the sport of college football.
For sure.
It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
That gives me hope for like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, even when they're not in the same conference.
Yeah,
you know?
Bedlam. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right. But what I want to challenge you boys to is that, again, I wouldn't give Blake credit. He's coming around. He's been there on the bandwagon this whole time. Jake, David, you guys, he's already matched your win total. I want to challenge you boys. One of the big two games coming up, USC, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you guys going to pick? I watched the pregame show this last week where everybody went Nebraska. The week before, everybody's all in on TCU. If you boys had to pick one of those two for Colorado, which one would you take?
Like, which one would be the most likely for them to be able to pull off?
Right.
USC's at home, Oregon's on the road.
USC.
What am I going to see you pick?
I would say USC because it is at Colorado, and I think that game, that style of game fits Colorado more because I think it's going to be a track meet. Because that's where, we just had Tim Brando on. He's a little bit more sold on the USC defense than I am. I got to see it when they play against adults and not children, talking about USC's defense. But I would lean a much better chance for Colorado to be in the game late against USC. That Shedeur Sanders versus Caleb Williams matchup is going to be absolutely prime time, Mike. But look, it's like I said, I'll be the first one to come on here if Colorado's able to somehow beat Oregon or beat USC and be like, listen, I was wrong. It's when you predict this many teams, I've never seen a team be bad up front on both sides of the ball and make serious noise in college football.
That's how I feel too about it. But talking about beating Oregon or USC, even playing them down to the wire.
Oh,
yeah, like I said, Colorado's playing with house money more than anyone right now. If Deion Sanders lost every game for the rest of the season, he's doubled the win total from last year, which he's going to say, and he's going to use that on the recruiting trail. But even if you went on the road and played Oregon to a touchdown, like that would be incredible.
You've had Fox, the big Saturday show. Now you've got Game Day coming to Boulder. It's already a win.
And I watched every play of both of those games.
Yeah, it's already a win.
You already got in the eyeballs.
You don't have the McIntyre guy bringing in In-N-Out burgers to the team anymore. You got Reese Davis bringing in Nick Saban.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely better than we could have hoped so far, and that's why I'd say this was the school that gave Coach Prime a chance. That's why I think he'll be around a little longer than what most expect. He's got a relationship with Rick George, our AD. It sounds like it's genuine and something they both value, and so hopefully they can do what they need to keep him around.
And it feels like a good fit.
It does.
It feels like a good fit, like Prime at Colorado.
Yeah.
It feels like a fit. Like when I see it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I get it.
I get
it. Definitely. Well, Mike, thanks, buddy. Please call back in after y'all beat Colorado State to death.
Yeah, Mike, don't forget who was there with you when it started.
It just reminds.
I remember.
All right, good. I love you. I'll see you. I'll text you.
It just reminds me of Wayne's World when he's like, and they beat him to death with his own shoes. If Ozzy didn't get enough red M&Ms, he wasn't going to go on stage that night.
We got King Don in Little Rock, Arkansas. King Don, what's up?
King Don.
Hey, y'all.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Living large, baby.
Jake,
it's football season. Go ahead.
Hit 'em.
I've got a question about, you said something on Sunday. You said Bears over the Packers was your favorite bet of the day. I got a question. Do you still stand by that?
Well, not now. Actually, didn't have a bad day on Sunday outside of that. If they would have hit, it'd been a lot better. It was weird seeing home teams go 6-10.
It's week ones, man.
It's week one, but the Bears added DJ Moore. Mooney's back healthy now.
Catches for 25 yards.
Which is crazy because he had like 2 catches in the preseason for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's like, and you got Cole Kmet, right? The offense, I was more disappointed in though, King Don, was defensively. How inept they look.
Yeah.
They blew more coverage than a bad Aflac agent, man. Like it just, watching Jordan Love had a good game, but they got guys running wide open. Aaron Jones, if there's one guy on the Packers, now that Aaron Rodgers is gone, it's the other Aaron that I'm going to stop and make somebody else beat me. Aaron Jones just running wide open. Like, I'm not even talking about on the ground game. They were killing him in the zone game. But I'm watching Jordan Love throw to wide open guys. And even when the Bears scored, finally, when he hit Mooney in the corner to bring it back to a 2-score game. The Packers just went down the field like they were damn Globetrotters, man. Just ding, 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 wide open receiver touchdown. I was more let down. And Matt, Dr. Seuss, Eberflus, Horton, here's a whatever his last name is, he's about to be, I'm telling you, if the Bears looked as bad as I've ever seen them look in that game.
And that's tough to say because they were historically bad on offense.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, they haven't been good on
Justin Fields hasn't had it. But Bears, Packers, typically the Bears bow up on defense in that rivalry.
You don't think like that game would have been that bad from a scoring standpoint.
Yeah.
Usually, it's tight, but like this is the reason like I wasn't big on the Bears. It's like I like Justin Fields. I like what he brings to the table. I like the pieces they brought in, obviously. Their offensive line is terrible.
Awful. They're awful.
There's a reason Justin Fields broke the record for most rushing yards last year as a quarterback because he's running for his life 90% of the game. But so until then, like you can bring in all the people you want. You don't get that foundation.
Didn't hit that Browns over Bengals, though.
I thought and still think they should be better than last year just because, like I said, they were historically bad on offense. But the Bears still being bad on offense isn't completely surprising. What did surprise me, though, was seeing how confident and calm Jordan Love was in the pocket. Yeah. Not just hitting some throws. He actually was back there taking his 3-step drop, going through his reads, and looking poised and confident. And you got to love to see Packers.
Jordan Love, I think, is part of a dying breed, a new quarterback in the NFL. They took their time with him.
Yeah.
I mean, now you see Bryce Young going out there game one, C.J. Stroud going out there game one, Anthony Richardson going out there game one. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers, took his time. They developed him, got him a little playing time here, little playing time there, and then you throw him out there, and he looked ready.
Because now these teams, they feel like they have to pay so much money on the second contract.
I get it.
That they're like, we got to find out ASAP on a rookie deal whether a guy can do it or not. And a lot of times it's not fair. We weren't seeing rookies start at quarterback like that when we were growing up.
No,
Aaron or even freshmen starting in college. Like these kids are they are incredible what they're doing at the quarterback position and really all positions.
Yeah. King Don, no, if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would change that bet.
Okay, real quick, I got another thing. So I'm playing fantasy football for the first time this year. And on one of my teams, I have way too many wide receivers. So I was just wondering if you all might be able to help me with who I should start.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, and Michael Pittman Jr. starting right now. And on my bench, I have Deebo Samuels, Jahan Dotson. And that's it for this one because Christian Watson's out.
Oh, man.
Jamar Chase.
You're starting Jamar Chase, obviously.
Yeah, you got to keep Jamar.
Are you in
Mike Evans got some targets, man.
Are you in a full PPR league with a flex position?
Yeah, I have a flex.
Okay. And you get a full point for every reception.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, Michael Pittman Jr.
I'd probably play Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo's going to get some looks at because Brandon Ayuk had a big week last week.
I agree with that.
Okay.
No, I think Michael Pittman Jr. had a phenomenal game week one from a fantasy standpoint. It's just I worry with him with this AR-15 and a new quarterback how many looks he's going to get. Who was the other one?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans
should have had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Had a touchdown last week. He's got that kind of contract dispute going on with the Bucs.
Yeah.
Is that something that you go out there and ball and try and stick it to him, or do you pout and sit on the sidelines? Buccaneers.
And you're playing against who this week?
Didn't see it.
Playing against the Bears if you're the Bucs.
Oh, yeah. I'd play Mike Evans. I'd play Mike Evans.
I go Jamar, Mike, and Deebo Samuel.
I agree with that.
Appreciate it, King Don.
And then real quick. Oh, wait. After last week, should I start Terry McLaurin? Because he played real bad.
Yeah. For who?
I have another league, and I have Terry McLaurin on that one, and I started him, and he got like 5 points.
Who else do you have?
I have on the bench. I have Cortland Sutton and Darnell Mooney.
Play Cortland
Sutton. I played him last week too because Jerry Judy's still out for a while.
Yeah, I played Cortland.
All right, thanks, King Don.
Great call, man. I love the fantasy questions. They're the big.
Yeah. All right, we got Larry in Alabama. Larry, what's going on, man?
Larry.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
First time listener.
Love it.
Now, this is Leroy Jose in the chat.
What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
What's going on? All right, first question for Blaine.
What?
How does it make you feel, man, that Aaron Rodgers wants to be a dragon so bad that he's just following your every move?
Wow.
I know. It's just, I was thinking about this the other day. It's just like, Aaron just wants to be me, and I love it.
Well,
Like, just take a picture with the guy.
That's
you
what
know?
I mean. Look, Aaron, we'll get you down to the set. Show you around a little bit. We can watch me comb my mustache. We can do a bunch.
Y'all
of stuff.
can comb each other's.
We can fly around the city.
Do you know what hurts the
light stuff's
most
on fire.
though? Like
When your Achilles ruptures.
no, it's like when you wear an Auburn jersey,
You look good in it, man.
Auburn shirt, and then you tear your Achilles.
Wait, did he really do that?
Dude, it's
was
just
that,
like
was
it's
that
so
Photoshop?
weird.
No, that was real. He had a bet.
It's-
He played at Cal. Remember?
Yeah.
Auburn played
No.
Cal.
Yeah. It's so weird because we both have mustaches.
Oh yeah, you're definitely you and Aaron Rodgers are
We
just
both
alike.
tear our Achilles.
Like if you started walking around with Danica Patrick, I wouldn't be shocked.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, more like Dan Patrick.
Man, he wants to fly
Why
so
is it
bad. He
always
became a
go
jet,
gay?
and then he tried to become a dragon. And
I know.
That's what happens.
Not
Didn't
everybody
work.
can be
Hey,
a dragon.
They can
fly.
just scooter around
That doesn't
together.
fly.
No, look, everybody can't be a dragon, but A-Raj, he can touch one of the eggs.
hey, man, if you guys could get on side-by-side scooters together, that would be legendary.
That would be. I feel like Aaron would come on and do
I
it.
think me and Aaron be boys, to be honest.
I feel like we should text him after the show.
I'm FaceTime him.
You should
Yeah.
definitely.
Y'all could sit in one of those sensory deprivation tanks together.
I will.
Oh God, that's
Wait,
so
as long as it's not
romantic.
underwater or anything like that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, just underwater sharks.
I don't want to be
come around
fighting
you.
mermaids on a Wednesday,
Or on a Thursday.
Oh, Leroy, man, we appreciate you, brother.
Hey, other thing, I'm a Tennessee fan living in the enemy territory down there.
Oh golly, Owen Wilson.
Yeah, my wife's a big time Auburn fan too. So
Good for her.
Good choice.
Yeah.
You made a good choice.
oh, absolutely. You guys.
How you feel about Florida this weekend in the swamp?
Oh man, I'm worried about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Nervy?
It's gonna be fun though. And that's what I'm wondering. How much slack do you give Milton if he's struggling early in the swamp? Like when do you pull him?
Well, see, like again, this is a problem you run into, and I think people. And I was on a space and like, why do you hate Joe Milton? I was like, I don't hate Joe Milton. I just hold
Someone
him to
asked
a
you that,
very
really?
high standard.
Why do
Like,
you hate
You
Joe
can't.
Milton?
Well,
If you critique somebody,
Oh,
you
it's-
can't
do it
hate
these
them.
days.
He's like,
Yeah,
well, he
just-
had thrown an interception in 200 passes. He's not mistake prone. I was like, a mistake isn't just an interception.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, he's thrown it
that's
so
not how
far,
this game
nobody
works.
can catch it.
Like, if he has to make, I'm not worried about Joe Milton being able to throw the now screen out there 8 times a game, which helps your completion percentage. It's those 5 to 7 throws in those tight windows on those third downs in those big moments I've got to see Joe Milton make. It's those nuanced throws. Because I hold him, and Tennessee fans should hold him to a very high standard. The problem you run into, it's like, oh, okay, well, if Joe Milton's struggling, you're going to bring in a true freshman quarterback in the
road.
swamp.
I don't think there's a leash. this
Like,
week.
I
don't
think
think
it
so.
is.
Yeah.
You ride with
Because Florida's not good enough to like blow Tennessee out. Now,
I agree
Florida's
with
good
that.
enough to win the football game, but I don't think there's any leash. If you're going to make a change later because Joe Milton's playing so bad, you would do it at a different time. But I don't think that's even going to happen. We were talking about, are they good enough to take that next step with what Hendon Hooker helped build and win a national championship?
Won 10 games last year.
Yeah, I know, and this could be their first back-to-back 10-win season in 20 years.
For sure. Well, Leroy, man, call in again,
Those
man.
Receivers got to help them out though.
They do. They got to catch
We'll
the
get there.
ball.
Many passes against Austin P.
Keaton's got to make that catch. Brew McCoy's got to get his body in a better position. I agree. It's not just like everything. It's not always on one guy in the game of football. But
Yeah,
man,
if they hit your hands, you better catch it. But
That's
man,
exactly
I
right.
appreciate
You're damn
it.
right.
Love the show. You guys rock, man. Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
Larry.
hey, we
Appreciate it.
appreciate you so much, man. Call in again. Let's go rapid
My
fire.
rule for receivers is if you can even see the ball, you should catch it.
That's
So
exactly
that's what
right.
it is.
When
All
you're
right.
a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Josh in North Carolina. What's up, Josh?
Baltar.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good,
man.
man. How you
brother.
going?
It's going well. I got 2 little things before I get to the Tennessee-Florida game. First, I realized I have been spelling Blaine's name wrong this whole time. I just realized this the other day.
Spelled it with
I've
an
been
E?
spelling it with an E.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I'm glad,
It's okay. Nobody
I'm
cares.
glad you figured that out and you mark you off this list.
What else, Josh? Oh, my God.
Okay, one other thing. I was working out at this new gym last night,
Nice.
and I'm going over to the cable machines, and I'm like, okay, I'm up to 50 pounds on this chest workout. I'm like, all right, I got this. I'm just warming up, and then some hot girl walks by, and she's like, are you using this machine? And I was like, I am, but you can, work in. She's like, it's all good. I'm like, no, work in. She's like, all right. So then I flip on the weight to go to 50 pounds, and I'm pulling it, and boys, I couldn't pull it down. I looked like an idiot.
Josh. At that point, you got a fake injury or a phone call. My grandma just died.
Wait, Josh.
Like
Well, usually, like when
you
I'm
got to
at the
pull
gym
the
and
parachute
I'm
on
doing
that.
something, and like a girl walks up to me and I start just screaming for help as loud as I can. That's what I do.
Hey, Josh, like when that happens, like you've got to be like, oh man, yeah, it's like, yeah,
I did so many.
I know I tore my shoulder. I saved this bus of kids from this terrorist.
I was like, it's not even my arm.
Yeah.
This is not I
borrowed it.
Yeah.
What I did was I went up to her. I'm like, so is this cable machine wrong, or is it working right? And she agreed with me. She told me, like, whenever she tries to do heavy weights on it, it feels different. So, like, I think it's one of those cable machines where the weights are like heavier than what they say they are. But
sure,
look,
that's it.
Look, blame the machine.
Yeah, I'm sure the weight's different.
Be a man. Blame the machine.
All right, quickly, Josh, on Tennessee, Florida. What do you got, real quick?
Yeah. So Tennessee, Florida. Jake, you pointed out perfectly yesterday. I truly believe this game's going to be won in the trenches, and I do believe in Tennessee's trenches better than Florida's. But I still think it's going to be close. And like the last caller said, if Joe Milton has another bad half, I think he's done for the season. They're just going to throw in the freshman. I truly believe that. But give me Tennessee by a touchdown, but nothing more. I think it'll be close, and then we do what Texas did late in the game and just pull away. I think it's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, you'll get my prediction. I feel pretty good about it.
We shall see. Thanks, Josh.
Josh, thanks, buddy.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right.
Do 40
everyone
pounds
else
next time.
Everyone else, call in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Caleb, the rest of y'all.
Hey, remember, we got calls tomorrow on Thursday. It's
I just want everyone to remember when I said that Joe Milton wouldn't make it through half the year.
We remember.
I want you to Memby.
Nobody in here was gassing up Joe Milton. I wonder why you're like the Colorado thing. You said they were going to win the 5 games. I'll give you that. But everybody, I've been saying the same thing about Joe Milton for a year and a half, almost 2 years. Right? You have too, David.
I didn't say y'all didn't.
I don't know. You're making it seem like you're the only
Did I
one.
say that?
I had to watch this experiment way longer than y'all did.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This started in Ann Arbor.
I did say y'all didn't.
Oh, the
Yeah,
dude
you so
said
defensive.
Hey, the dude in the space last night said you hated Joe Milton too because of Michigan.
I don't hate anyone.
Why do you
I don't have
hate
time
Joe
or
Milton,
energy to hate
David?
people. I want to get into space and defend myself now. What space is this?
Outer space.
Who was it? What was his name?
God,
Glork
it was
17.
Chris in Georgia. Actually,
I don't hate anyone.
Chris
He's from
Ingles.
Pahokee. He's from my dad's hometown,
you got people
man.
from
I
your
want Joe
hometown
Milton to
coming
do
to
well.
Georgia. I
I'm
heard
trying to
he's
give you
from
the
Statesboro.
facts.
He's
He's not from
pissed.
Statesboro. He's from Pahokee. All right.
All right, our Booster Club bets are brought to you by DraftKings. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, by the way.
I don't hate anyone.
Are brought to you by DraftKings. Life's more fun when you're in on the action, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, because new customers, and if you're old, can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on NFL football. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER. The crown is yours. Hashtag not Joffrey. All right, yesterday, good day, but nobody's talking about it. We're ready to get to football. Want to give a huge shout out to Scherzer and Hyunjin for a nerfy first inning. Pretty excited about that. And also the Royals. Game 2, I told you, Tukey on the mound. Royals, slap-ass. Beat the White Sox.
Did they win both games or just the second
Just
one?
the second one.
Good pick.
Just this. Tukey Toussaint was on the mound.
I knew
Bears
exactly
calls
where
him
you were
Tukey,
going with
Tukey.
that.
You always pick it.
No, dude.
Wow. Yes, then do it.
Then do it.
Then do it.
Okay.
Tonight,
All
I'm
right.
going to do it by taking.
Am I up?
What? You trying to jump in logs?
Oh, I thought you said your
You in a wheelchair at Universal Studios?
Hey, it goes, man.
Yeah. We got you. Boom, boom.
I know.
You know that's
hey,
from, right?
You know, YouTube out there, don't feel bad because I don't know what's happening.
Dude,
You
Don't
haven't
feel
seen
bad.
Couples Retreat?
with Vince Vaughn?
Couples
Yeah, it's on
Retreat?
Netflix right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the yoga.
Hey, Blaine, if he hasn't watched it,
okay.
what should he do? Should do it.
should do it. Encouragement.
Sorry, I don't have the movie memorized.
Sorry, I just swam from across the island. Let me get the Astros -1.5 tonight at -130. And then Zach Gallen on the mound, a.k.a. gallon of fastballs for strikes, David. Money line, minus 145. D-backs, not D-bags. Never forget.
Is it my turn now?
Now it's your turn.
Okay, Braves minus 1.5, minus 105. Matt Olson tied in home runs in Braves franchise
50.
history with Andrew Jones. Could break it tonight. Let's see.
It feels so
and then
good.
Orioles money line minus 185. And then my third thing is that Joe Milton's just the best quarterback that I've ever seen in the history of my life because he can throw it so far. He's the best.
He is.
All right, a little double cover yesterday for you, bud.
I know, same
Somebody's
here.
really good at baseball this year. So I'm going back to it. All right.
That's a great Rays plus 1.5 call outs. They lost by 1. That was a great call.
They're up for most of the game, too. All right, give me Atlanta first 5.
Ooh.
It's going off at minus 190. The mustache bra of Spency Stridey.
Yeah.
That they're striding it out on the mound. Make sure the hammy's feeling nice.
Don't ever look at me and stroke your mustache.
You sure?
Blaine just looks like. What
do you do with your hands?
Blaine just looks like he commands a French battalion.
Yeah, that among
I just
other
want to show up to your house and fix your lawnmower. All right. So then give me the Rays. Twins, Nerfy, minus 104.
Oh, you love.
What do we got tomorrow, fellas? It feels like a little bit of what? Feels like a little football.
Yeah.
I believe
Ace.
it's Kirk Cousins and the Eagles.
Oh,
He's going to go Rangers money line. That's plus 100. He's going to go Dodgers money line. That's minus a dirty.
What was Dodgers playing the Padres?
130. Dodds versus Pods.
Blake Snell, shovel face.
Does everyone have shovel face?
No, dude, shovel
they do
face is
not.
like David.
It's like the
a
hills have eyes,
description.
people.
It's
like they all escaped from West Virginia for one night. They just let them all go in West Virginia.
Hey, don't you say mean things about West Virginia.
All right, quick donations
Change
really
your
quickly.
tune.
Get to them. Then we got to get to poll.
All right, let's go to Mockingbird, $20 donation. Appreciate it. It says, why not let players play up to 6 years in college? It would maybe turn college into a minor league, but we're seeing how it improves the quality of play, increase pay equity through NIL, and improved parity on the field.
That's
How
a
about
whole show's worth of stuff right there.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Mockingbird, I got a picture of that. We will revisit that. I'm pretty sure Cole Frink had a $2 donation earlier in the show. LeBron is mid, MJ's the GOAT, and Wisconsin will win. I believe that was correct. Zach Durs, $5 donation. Zach, thank you.
DD.
Not the only reason why Wisconsin lost, but did you guys see the not a safety call late? Game would have been tied, and then who knows what happens?
Yeah, well, look, Wisconsin, I was just let down defensively by the way they played.
Yeah.
I like Cam Ward, but I mean, come on, guys.
Let's go to Kirk Thuggins, $5 donation.
Huggins.
Long Penn State fan here. It's been rough, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Drew seems like that guy. What does Manny need to do to shore up this defense?
Look, the defense will be fine because you guys are good up front. I'm telling you right now, Drew Aller's one of those rare guys that's a tree that can throw off platform.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like that kid, man. And he knows what he's looking at. Like when you watch him, he's getting through reads. I'm telling you. They go to Ohio State? Penn State goes to Ohio State?
And they get Michigan at home.
Man, I'm telling you, Penn State's scary.
Let's go to Jack Goss.
Scarier than a fat kid sneaking in your kitchen.
Let's go to Jack Goss, $5 donation.
Do it.
That kind of got me. After week 1, what's the official CNC top 10 poll of the NFL?
Ooh, you gonna do a little power ranking
tomorrow?
tomorrow?
That's a Tuesday thing, you know.
Power ranking
we do
tomorrow.
College poll Monday.
College poll? Yeah. We
NFL
may throw it on the
Tuesday.
Thursday this week.
All right, let's go to Joe Pinade, $5 donation. Cone hated me when he refused to take a pic with me in my nightmare. Hashtag never forget. Hashtag Penn State.
Yes.
Do you remember my nightmare that I had that it was even worse because I asked you to take a picture and you told me to just
You do have
not
night
ever talk
terrors.
to you?
There's nothing like nightmares in Penn State. All right, let's get to the poll. Will Colorado win the Pac-12? Yes?
No.
Yes, 12%.
No. In general.
Yes, 28%.
Okay.
Yes, 28%.
No, 72%.
Yeah. All right, Colorado.
28% of the people think Colorado's going to win the Pac-12.
Come on down, Colorado town.
Boulder
Goodness
town right now.
gracious.
Appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on all social media. Shout out Timmy B coming on.
Hey there.
Great show. Got a great show for you tomorrow. We have call-ins every day. Don't forget it. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Crane & Co. is the best sports show out there. And like the chances of Colorado winning the Pac-12, we're going. Gone.